In the words of Barbie, fascist, but I don't control the railways or the flow of commerce. Railways are crucial infrastructure. They keep things moving. In the past, the rail corridor used to help to transport goods and people to and from Malaysia. Now, years after the closure of the rail line, the rail corridor moves not only our local fauna but also our OLs in Lululemon trying to escape from their boring corporate job. However, the journey to get here was a rocky one to say the least. Getting the land back was already a pain in the ass. Ensuring that it gets conserved is another struggle. In the years following our independence, the rail corridor was a piece of Malaysian land left forgotten. Plants and animals started to grow and live along the corridor, creating this nature way connecting different parts of Singapore. Wildlife could also travel along the corridor to other major forest nodes like Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. The Nature Society saw the potential in turning the rail corridor into a linear park and proposed this to the government. Thankfully, they were on the same page and thus the rail corridor was born. Today, the 24-kilometer rail corridor is part of a larger plan for 360 kilometers of nature and recreational routes. It's still far from complete, but there are already more than 30 barrier-free access paths open to the public. This means easier access for those with mobility aids, but that might also mean that Abings on e-scooter might be whizzing down the rail corridor soon. Hey, is the rail corridor considered a park connector? Back in 2010, the winning proposal for the rail corridor suggested turning it into a hub of activities, with rock climbing facilities, community farms, fishing ponds, cafes and even a firefly garden. A little over the top, So far, it seems that we are currently keeping the corridor low-key and natural. The rail corridor could have easily not existed. After all, it was just a skinny sliver of land bisecting the country into two. Without the rail corridor cutting up the land in weird ways, there could be so much more land that could be developed well. One such example is the Bangsar Woodlands, which is this narrow strip of land with the rail corridor running right through it. It's not much, it's a bunch of scrubs and some trees, so it's kind of like your Overwatch theme. Soon, HDB blocks will be built all along the Bangsar Woodland with the promise that the rail corridor will be kept as closely as possible to the original alignment. I'm not sure if we need more housing here, especially since this area is already inhabited by unhappy young mothers and Japanese soldiers. And that's not all. Another incursion is happening in Kranji, this time without authorization. A big swath of forest was cleared without permission around the rail corridor. What the people didn't know, however, was that the entire forest was already approved for redevelopment. Besides, most of these forests were invasive species that only took root in the 10 years since the last train ran through the space. Meanwhile, we are losing the original route of the rail corridor to the expansion of the water reclamation plant behind me. The most ironic thing is, this isn't even the original rail corridor. It used to terminate at Woodlands checkpoint, but now it is rerouted and it stops at the Kranji MRT station. So I guess it might be more convenient for people coming by train. We're not Hannah Montana, and we can't have the best of both worlds. So the question is, what is the purpose of the rail corridor? If the purpose is to connect native species, then we need to make sure we have as many nature spaces along its length as possible, and as little human interaction as we can. However, some might think, is there even a point? Are our forests even worth the trouble? Well, they might be tiny, but they house 1/3 of the world's population of the critically endangered straw-headed bulbul. You know who else is a straw-headed bulbul? Your ma. Nature is more resilient than we give credit for, and wildlife in our urban spaces is a common sight. So perhaps some natural protection is still better than none at all. The largest plot of land along the rail corridor, however, is the Clementi Forest. It's still being zoned for housing, and so it's even more important that we are loud about protecting our green spaces and native biodiversity. As natural forested land becomes more and more of a rarity, every plot of land becomes even more ecologically important than the last one.